Now I just thought that was real disrespectful of Facebook. There was nothing wrong, and my video just straight cut off. So if you're seeing this again, I've deleted the last video, but I'm doing it all over again so Facebook can have it. It is me, the one, the only, again, Natural Lady Boss L Boogie, and I am here with the Power Mommy Moon series, Wealth Wisdom Wednesday. I was playing all different types of songs, but today we're playing, hey sis, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. No, I told I don't own the rights to the music. I didn't have the music on, nothing, but I'm turning the music off anyway. It went through the whole thing. I went almost 20 minutes, like 15 minutes through, and then it just cut off. It was like, yes, you did a great job. I said, oh, okay. But I need to talk to my couples about these financial topics that they need to discuss. So I'm going to do it again, and hopefully this goes through, because there's no music playing now. It's just me. It's me in the kitchen in my new director's chair, and I'm loving it. So these are some financial topics that if you're getting married or you're living with someone, you should definitely... Yes. And we have to set something up. We got to set something up, Kim. Definitely you catching it. I'm glad you are. I need to make sure that I can get you to catch it. So maybe I have to work with your time schedule, Queen, because you out there in Colorado making it happen, millionaire. 7 topics that every couple should talk about, and you shouldn't wait until you're walking down the aisle to say, hey, so what's your credit score? Like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to wait until we're standing in front of the pastor or the judge to say, I need to tell you that I'm in debt over $250,000. Like, we're not going to do that. We're going to start beforehand to make sure that everything goes well. So you're going to start now if you're dating someone long term and you're going to the path where you're living together, or you're about to live together, or you're making that next step into marriage. So the first topic that every couple should discuss is your financial mistakes of the past. Like I said, you don't want to be walking out talking about, hey, I actually only have a 300 credit score because I don't have no credit. I pay for everything cash. I use my debit card. I don't have anything else. That's not going to work too well. I'll tell you that right now. You want to have complete transparency. This ice machine is really funny. You want to have complete transparency when it comes to your financial past, right? So the cover up is always worse than the crime. I tell my son that all the time. I tell people that all the time. I'd rather you tell me the truth now, because if I find out later on you lied to me, I'm more mad that you lied to me than you didn't tell me first. So you want to make sure that you talk about your financial mistakes of the past, right? So you don't want to make the mistake of lying or even hiding info about your past, because a lot of times where you're looking into buying a home, you're looking into just building a future together, and if you both want to be on the mortgage, you both want to be on the lease and things like that, and if these places run a credit report, what's going to happen when they run yours or they run your spouse's and they're like, well, only one of you can be on here because this person's credit score is bad. So you want to talk about the past because it builds up to having a good future. Now, the second tip every couple should discuss when it comes to their financial matters is you want to talk about your current status. Now, your current status could be that you're working with me or one of my many partners here at Nove and getting your credit together, which is great. Hi, Prima. I knew you was going to be on soon. I knew you was going to be on soon. I was like, she wasn't there. She's coming on. But you want to talk about your current financial status, right? So You want to talk about your debt when it comes to credit cards, student loans, everything. You want to talk about your assets, budgets, your credit scores, anything that's relevant, that's going on right now when it comes to your finances. You want to talk about it, right? So you already talked about the past. Now you're talking about the present. What you think is going to come next? You need to talk about your financial goals for the future, right? So when it comes to that, I seen some more people come on. I had to say hi to them. Hey Terry, hey sis, how you doing? Hey Shannon, what's up Queen? Thank you for tuning in. So when you're talking about your financial goals for the future, you want to discuss not only what your personal financial goals is for the future. You're thinking about marrying this person, you're living together. You want to talk about what your both of your financial goals are for you as a couple, right? So you want to discuss long term, you want to discuss short term goals, you want to talk about spending, you want to talk about savings, you want to discuss buying a house, retirement, investment, insurance, healthcare. Like all of these are so important that people kind of overlook. They'll talk about, I want to buy a house, but they don't talk about, life insurance. They talk about, I might have this type of money for retirement, but they're not really talking about long-term investment. Because if you work for a company 20 years, with the pandemic the way it is now, what makes you think that you're going to have a retirement if you're not actually putting money in your retirement yourself? Now, I work for the city of New York, so we don't have a choice. We have to put in to our retirement. It's not matched with the city. It's not matched with the agency we're with. We literally, out of our own check, put money into our retirement. They have a pension that you have to get in. It's no option to say that I don't want to get involved with the pension. You have to get in a pension, and that's your retirement. Now, I'm not crazy. I know that retirement money is not going to last me for the rest of my life once I retire. First of all, I'm not retiring at 65 from my job. I never, ever in my life saw that. Even before I got into business, before I started Nove, I never saw myself retiring from a job at 20 for 20 years, 30 years. I think all of y'all that do it for 20 plus years, 30 years, 40 years, salute to y'all. I can't do it. I don't like people like that. I like people. Let me not say that. I like people. I ain't got time for that. But when it comes to that, I know exactly what I'm dealing with when it comes to working full time. When it comes to my business, I know my business is, because I have a couple that I'm gearing up for. My businesses is going to work longer than my job, because especially with this pandemic and everything, anything could happen tomorrow. They could send me a letter saying that, although I work for the city and I'm an essential worker doing non-essential work, they can tell me that, you're going to be furloughed right now. What am I supposed to do? Things like that. So I've never put more emphasis on a job. But you definitely, like I said, with couples, you want to make sure you have all these types of talks. Do they feel like they want to stay on their job long? What do they want to do? These are type of financial talks that you should have with your spouse. If you haven't had it, if you've gotten married and you haven't had these talks with your spouse, please have these talks with your spouse now. It's not too late. And if you need help, well, that's why the Natural Lady Boss is here to help. And if one of my business partners has shared this broadcast with you, definitely ask them how they can help you with your finances, because we know what's going on. All of us have known, we're looking at how things are being played out there in the world, and the government wants to throw money at you because they're trying to circulate. But I tell you one thing, look up and think about, look up how the dollar has changed. Now, before the pandemic really got high, I actually looked up and I saw that $100, straight $100. I compared it from New York, where I live at, versus North Carolina. So it said $100 value in New York was worth $86. The value in North Carolina was $106. So a regular $100 was less here in New York than it was in North Carolina. Get the hell out, okay? So we're all in the United States, and just between state to state, the money value is different. It's time for a change, okay? So number four, we're gonna get back on this. Number 4 topic that couples should talk about when it comes to their finances is bank accounts. Now, do you have your own bank account? Do you have a joint bank account? Or do you have a combined bank account? Or you have both. Basically, you have both. So I've talked to couples. I said this on my video before. I've talked to couples. I know plenty of couples. And a lot of them, the ones that are married, they've been married for a while. I know some that have separate accounts. And they have, of course, a joint account. I know couples that have separate accounts completely, and whenever it's time to pay the bills, they just give whatever money is needed to pay the bills. And then, of course, you have those that maybe are just living together, that they have separate accounts, but, they may have one joint account together to pay the bills. So, of course, the traditional way is to just put all your money in one account and be like that. That's how, back in the days they used to do. I don't think I'll do it. I'll probably, if I jump off the bridge, if I decide to get married, that's a whole nother topic. But if I was to get married, I probably would have my own bank account, my husband have his own, and then we have an account for our expenses. But I will also make sure that we have an emergency account. We have our true emergency account. We have our mini emergency account, and a lot of you guys should have that too. Even if you're not in a relationship, you make sure you have that true emergency and that mini emergency. But as a couple, you're getting married, you're living together. Now, I'm not talking about the living together. Let me backtrack. That you like, okay, so how can I put this? I ain't being politically correct, forget it. So you have some little people that will use certain individuals just to live someplace during the winter time because it's cold outside, don't want to be on the streets. And then, of course, when it get nice out, it's time to spread your wings and go. That's not the time to have a joint bank account. You got to make sure that this is the person that knows what to do with the money, that they're not going to run off with the money, things like that. You can have it set up where they have to sign off to have money withdrawn from the account if it comes to that. But if it comes to that, that means that you both don't need a shared account. But you just want to make sure that you are on the same page when it comes to having a bank account. Are you going to decide, like I said, to have joint account? Are you going to have separate accounts, or will you have both? Number five in topics that every couple should be talking about when it comes to their finances is budgeting. And a lot of times, even as a single mom, I don't want to talk about budgeting. I don't want to deal with budgets. Yeah, I know. It's a sticky situation, but it has to be talked about. But budgeting is another one because, like I said, I don't like budgeting, but I made a post on Facebook, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but I went and I was with my best friend, and I'm like, yeah, she's like, you need to go food shopping. I said, yeah, I just need to pick up a couple things because I still have some stuff, from the last time we did major shopping. I don't need to do a major overhaul. I don't know how the hell I walked out with 76 items and I spent $230.44. I still don't know where them items is at because I have a 16-year-old that lives here and he eats. Then, of course, I have the Empress who's upstairs and she eats. I'm the only one that barely eats. I'm not getting it. But when it comes, if I'd have budgeted better, I wouldn't have spent $230. But I have the cash flow to add extra money, so it didn't really hurt my pocket. But when it comes to couples, you want to decide how you want to budget. And then it comes to like, how are you going to handle your meetings? Do you want to have meetings, or you're just going to tell each other what's going on? Maybe you want to set up having weekly meetings or maybe even monthly meetings so you're both on the same page and you can see where all your money is going. Now, you know, traditionally you have the books and you show and you have your bank accounts, you have your bank statements, and see, now when it comes to Nove, we have budgeting tools already in place that you can take advantage of to have all of that done for you. Like, it's just, you don't have to worry about it. You can input everything and the system will help you budget your money, as well as the debt elimination. It'll help you decrease your debt 50 to 75% faster than if you tried any other method. It works. Actually, I dropped the ball on it. I need to get back on it. But I did good. Like I said, I've been good. During this pandemic, I've actually saved a lot of money. And I'm going to continue on the path because I realized where I messed up at in the past, but I'm cleaning it all up. It's doing better now. So you want to make sure the budgeting can be a tool that can use to create your plan with your partner. You know, it basically sets up a financial roadmap for the future. Now you plan on being with this person until basically the wheels fall off, until death do you part. You want to make sure that both of you guys are covered. You know, so number six is you want to decide who will be in charge. Who's better at money? It could be just a little bit better, you know. Who will handle the day-to-day finances? Who's going to handle the long-term finances? This is something you could decide. And then it can be where each individual doesn't have to handle each one only. You know, you may want to rotate so your significant other can see what it's like to handle the finances long term, and the person that did it long term can see what it's like to handle it on a day to day, and you can put your input and your values into it. And like I said, it goes back to scheduling. You have your meeting to be like, you know, well, I know we're working on this long term, and I saw this when it comes to this program that Nove Money has to offer. You know, one of you could see this video and see like, okay, you know what? I want to find out more about what's going on. You can go in, check it out. Go to my website, go to one of my business partners' website, and you're like, you know what? I think this is something that me and my partner can handle, can deal with. Like, this would be something good for us. So then it comes to those meetings and Nove Money comes on the table. Part of those weekly meetings, because all of this is for your future. You want to make sure that you both are in charge. You both are on the same page, but you just want to make sure who decides who's doing what. So, number seven, when it comes to topics every couple should talk about when it comes to their finances, is how much communication do you expect? Now, do you want to tell the person every time you spend money? Like if you're going to Walmart, you're going to Target, you're buying food. Do you want to tell them every time you spend money when you come home, I done spent $50 here, I done spent $100 here, I done spent $230.44 at the supermarket. Do you want to do that? It's up to you. Do you want to tell if you spent a certain amount? You know, do you want to meet weekly to go over the budget? Do you want to have quarterly or yearly money evaluations to see where exactly you stand? Like, how much communication do you want to have when it comes to your finances? You should have as much communication when it comes to your finances, because you don't want nothing to slip. You know, you might forget to pay a bill, your spouse catches up on it. Your spouse forgot to put money in some savings account. You caught up on it and did it. You want to always make sure, no matter what, this ice, I'm about to tear up some ice when I finish too. No matter what, you want to make sure that you're on the same page. No matter who's better at finances, no matter who's in charge of what and what you decide, you want to make sure that you are both on the same page when it comes to your finances. If you have a business, you want to make sure you're on the same page as that. Don't have your spouse in the dark unless they're just like, I don't want to know anything about it. Then you got some other problems. But when it comes to your family, you should always know what's going on, financially. Because like I said, you want to talk about your life insurance, your health insurance, your spending, your savings. You want to talk about all of this. You want to talk about, look, hey, I don't want to work at my job no more. I want to start a business. I want to be one of El Boogie's partners, one of her business partners. I'm going to start with Nove. I'm going to start with one of her business partners. No matter where they at across the United States, I'm going to be a part of Nove. These are topics that you should talk about. You don't have to have a deep discussion, but it could be something like, hey, I came across this and I'm going for it. I'm going to try it out for a month and I'm going to see how it is. You with me or not? Now, that's just me. But I'm single, so it's okay. I've been with Nove since pre-launch December 2014, and Nove has been in, we're going on 6 years, so I've been in the whole time. But when I was with my son's father, I was like, yo, I'm starting a business. And he supported me 100%, and he always did that. But everything, like I said, that's a whole nother topic. But you want to make sure that your lines of communication is open, But when it comes to it, overall, when it comes to the ending, you want to make sure that your foundation is rock hard. That you have trust in that foundation, because trust is the foundation on which the relationships are built on. And a lot of times, we always say you gotta have trust, you gotta have communication, you gotta have love, honesty, you gotta have it all. But if you don't have that trust that's rock hard, there's no way in hell that your finances is gonna make it. You have people that have hidden agendas, and I promise you right now, you have hidden agendas when it comes to my money. I'm coming for you. I'm gunning for you. Like, it ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yes, I know I know a lot of people, but when it comes to my money, I'm coming for you. I may not come right away, but I'm coming for my money. But you want to make sure as a couple that you have these talks. You can't be scared to have these talks about your finances, about what you want to achieve, what he or she wants to achieve. You don't want to be scared about having these talks, especially if you're living together and you're like, what, this is going to be the person I marry. Things like that. So you don't want to be scared. And like I said, if you haven't had these talks with your significant other, whether you're just engaged, you just got married, you need to have these talks. It's important to have these talks, and it's not too late, but your finances is hurting every day that you don't make a move when it comes to your savings, when it comes to your business, when it comes to having additional income. Your finances is hurting every day. A lot of people is like, oh, but I'm getting unemployment. It's good. They talking about another stimulus check. I'm good. All of that will come to an end just like that. But you know what will still be available? Business. Nove money. Your business that you have. It doesn't have to be, but that will always be available, because that money can be taken away from us, which they're trying to do anyway, by the way. They want to give it to us, but trust me, on the back end, something not right, Lucy. Something not right. But I'm so glad I was able to share this information with you. This doesn't mean that if you're on here and you're like, what, oh, then me and her could get together and she can handle the finances. No, I'm handling my own finances right now. I'm going for a 700 credit score now. Then I'm going for that 850 credit score. I'm gunning for a house. I have a lot of plans going on right now. I have a son I'm taking care of. I have a mother I'm taking care of. Trust me, if you want to jump into this basket, you gotta come correct. Ain't no, there will be no someone that I have to like, I'm not searching for, seeing where you at, where you going, like, no, come correct or don't come at all. So it's already out there. My finances aren't extravagantly the best, but they aren't as bad as they used to be. And like I said, the reason why I had bad finances is because, one, I didn't have any credit cards. I had no credit cards, no trade lines. So I really had no credit. The main things that I had on there, of course, which I still have on there, student loans. But, you know, you get a Walmart card. I have Verizon. I have the house phone in my name like years ago. So I had all of that on there. And thanks to Nove Money, I've been able to change my finances for the better. So I don't worry about finances no more. I don't worry about when a bill come. You know, you look at it, you like, how much am I going to pay on this bill so they don't turn off the lights? Ooh, I got to pay that much? Well, let me see what I can scrounge up here and then tell them I need to make payments. I don't have to do that. I'm grateful I don't have to do that. I actually, last year, helped my mom. You know, she had a bill. You know, I didn't know she had this bill until while she was in the hospital from her accident. You know, I looked at it. I said, that's a little bit more than, you know, what she told me she owed. So I called them up, and they're like, yeah, well, you have to put down at least $900 right now, or this is going to happen. I had a lot more than 900, but I had enough money in my savings, in my emergency savings, to be like, look here goes the money right here, and we're going to make payments every month or every 2 weeks, however I had it set up. I paid my mom's bill off. I paid off $5,000 of her debt myself. I paid it off myself. I didn't use it. I used my money. I paid off $5,000 in debt for her, because if it had went on her credit, she's one of my cousins now, so I'm helping her rebuild her credit. I'm helping her get trade lines and things like that. So it would have been devastating to her credit. But to pay off $5,000 is because I made sure that my foundation for myself is, I gotta make sure that my mom and my son is good. I gotta make sure that we have a place to live. You know, that's why I'm gunning full hard about buying this house. You know, it's long overdue, but the fact is, I'm gonna make it happen, and you need to make it happen with your husband, with your wife. No matter where you are at exactly, if you're living together, you're already married, you need to make sure that you have your goals together and that you are on the same page, because you're both going for the same thing. That's why y'all together. So I'm about to go eat this ice because I'm an ice fiend and I'm anemic. So, you know, I'm about to go eat some ice because it keeps dropping. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure you share this broadcast with some other couples that's out there. You know I switched it up. Usually I'm for single parents. I'm always about single parents, but single parents get married too. So let's not get it twisted. But it's happening, and I'm so glad to be able to share this with you. Make sure you share this broadcast. If you're catching the replay, make sure you hashtag replay gang so I could give you a shout out. Once again, thank you so much for joining me, the Natural Lady Boss L Boogie, on Power Mommy Moves Wealth Wisdom Wednesday. Y'all have a good night. Peace.